right, perfect. So today what we're going to be covering, Carmen, specifically, since you're here live, we're going to kind of tailor it to you. But I want to kind of go over during these trainings, go over platform specific content and dive into some different platforms that aren't necessarily the norm of content, like not necessarily the ones that a lot of people think about, but it's really good to cover this stuff. And the first one I want to cover today, and we're going to get into other platforms later on in different trainings, is TikTok. So the reason why I want to cover TikTok is because TikTok is easily the number one opportunity to get a lot of exposure right now on the internet, and specifically because of the reach and the organic reach that we have available on TikTok. So there's a common misconception nowadays that, and I played this game for a long time. That's why you can see, like, I haven't built much of a following on here. Like, I've really done this over the course of the past month or so. I spent zero time actually taking TikTok seriously, primarily because, you know, we all thought it was a kid's platform back in the day, right? Everybody was like, it's TikTok. TikTok is for kids and it's not for business, it's not for adults, and that is completely wrong at this point. I've noticed to the point where, you know, like, I have my girlfriend's uncle who's like completely not a social media person is sending TikTok videos to my girlfriend every now and then. Like, everybody from the 8-year-old kid that somehow got access to an iPad to, you know, people who are in their 60s, maybe even 70s, maybe even 80s are on TikTok at this point, right? It's a viral platform where a lot of people are spending a lot of time, and there's a way that we can get on here and get a ton of exposure that we can turn into clients. And even with the following I have where it's at, nothing too crazy at all, haven't really caught a huge amount of traffic yet, but I've still been able to convert a lot of TikTok followers into Instagram followers, which has allowed for me to build a higher level content base and a higher level following base of coaches in my niche. So TikTok provides that type of exposure where we can take advantage of a lot of online exposure. We can be very niche specific and we can find the people that we want to find. So today, what I'm going to cover is just content structure on TikTok, what types of content you can create, how to find different types of like viral strategies on TikTok, and how to personalize it to a coaching business, because that's what we're here for at the end of the day. So as you can see here, this is my profile. You can see that, like, I caught a couple of videos that recently caught wind, got a good amount of exposure. I have one video in the past that got a lot of exposure, and that's where most of my following came from. And my big problem that I made, I got this one video that's like 32,000. And right after I caught that wind, I started to play the game of like TikToks for kids, and I never took advantage of the exposure that I could have created off of that one video. So as a result, now I'm kind of climbing my way back and starting to get some more exposure on the platform, starting to get some more traction. You know, it's a platform where it organically boosts your content, right? So some of the content that you don't even realize will get pushed to thousands of people. As you can see here, this was like a piece of content that I didn't really spend much time on. It was just a viral trend that I noticed, and it's got over 5,000 views at this point. And I gained a good amount of followers from it that were actually coaches, right? So what I think about with TikTok is I think about what type of content can I create that will attract my ideal client, right? So for me, obviously we work with coaches. So I put out a lot of like relationship style content, mindset content. I don't even do that much like business strategy content. I more so take the approach of posting about what coaches are already interested in and kind of catching the wave of the fact that I'm somebody that's just like them, right? So I'm posting content around like mindset, spirituality here and there, like relationships, stuff that would attract a coach who's on that same kind of wavelength. Maybe even like fitness, different type of stuff like that. We'll bring in that sort of person that's on the same wavelength when it comes to personal development. So that's kind of my thought process with TikTok, is creating content that's going to attract that ideal client. So in terms of like a spiritual coach or a life coach, like creating content around the benefits of meditation, like, you know, different practices that you can do, like when you're stressed out, try this. Those different pieces of content are going to bring a lot of exposure on TikTok, because TikTok is full of people who are on the platform, and it's a very engagement heavy platform. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick with my profile and just show you that, like, by no means am I this like huge TikTok expert that's built like hundreds of thousands of followers, but I'm still getting high quality followers and high quality traction from this platform, even without thousands and thousands of followers. I'm still getting what I need out of the platform. So can you. So let's talk about how we can actually build content and find what works. With TikTok, we want to be cognizant of the fact that TikTok is a very viral heavy platform, meaning that you want to catch the trends, but you also want to have it within your industry. So for instance, when you're trying to find, okay, how do I create content on TikTok? One of the best places to check, and right now I'm on desktop, this is different than the phone, but on desktop, if you scroll down here to, if you click on the TikTok right here and you scroll down, you'll see in this discover section, you'll see that there's viral sounds over here. So in this bottom left corner, you can see that there's like some viral sounds that are getting used a lot here, where it's like where the music icon is, those are sounds. And then you can see like viral searches, and you can see viral hashtags that are happening. So holiday music, unboxing, fashion history, unrealistic things, holiday decor. Like these are just some trending stuff that's happening on the platform. On the mobile version, you can actually click on that section and you can see a lot more options there. And you'll end up seeing a lot that are geared towards your industry. So the more content that you produce, the more that you start to post on TikTok, the more that the platform starts to be personalized for what you want out of it. So you'll start to see a lot more of the viral sounds and the viral hashtags that your industry is using. But you know, you can always use this search bar up here. So I always recommend, like, when someone's getting started on TikTok and like, how do I build like a solid kind of structure around what I post? For instance, let's take spiritual as an example, right? Like we could do meditation, right? If we search meditation, these are all the top posts around meditation, right? So diving into this content and seeing like what's working on TikTok, right? This is a post about meditation. This post got 206,000 views, right? So imagine like that much exposure for your business. You're going to get tons of followers. You're going to get tons of people that you can convert into. The idea of TikTok is this. The idea of TikTok is get exposure, get eyeballs, get people who see what you do, convert those people into Instagram followers, and then convert them into clients. So TikTok isn't a platform where you're just going to be able to convert people into clients right off the bat, but TikTok is a platform where you're going to educate them into becoming clients. So education is huge on TikTok. You can see that this post right here is like a Buddha that's talking about meditation and karma and stuff, and it's got 4.5 million views. So this is all happening on TikTok. These are all different types of posts that you can be diving into. So when you're thinking as a coach, how can I extract value from TikTok? You want to search what you're most interested in, like life coach, for instance, like different terms like that. You'll see some different content ideas. And what the biggest thing to understand with creating any sort of content, right? Whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, no matter what the platform is, you want to look at what's working and then create your own version of what's working, right? So like this post right here, this woman here did 5 signs that you need a life coach. It's got 16,000 views. You could potentially watch that, get that idea of, okay, I can create, 5 signs that you need a spiritual coach, and then think about the 5 signs that somebody would need a spiritual coach and create a quick video about that. Advice from a life coach. This video has got over 280,000 views. This one, 459,000 views. So there's tons of exposure on this platform, and it's becoming more of a personal development based platform. Like people are spreading knowledge about personal development. And that's why I wanted to cover it in, this structure, is because this is a platform that all of us need to be taking advantage of. There's tons of organic traffic. We can get people to see us, see what we do. We can convert those people into followers, and then we can convert them into clients. And it's just about being consistent on the platform. So when we go through this, the idea is this, right? TikTok content, you're going to have to I'm not going to be able to cover everything here when it comes to TikTok, but I just wanted to show the opportunity that TikTok has available and what you can start to do to try and figure out how to build content around it. So, when you're looking at these posts and you're looking at what's trending in your industry, click on the post.
Here's 7 signs that you might be disconnected from your purpose.
And you can see this one's 7 signs you're not living your purpose, right? So like there's a lot of posts that are around this. And what's really popular right now is like 5 reasons this, 5 signs this, 5 things you can do to do this, right? So like it's very knowledge based and tip based. But what you can see here is when you click on a post, you can see what they're using for hashtags, and you can see what their sound is, what they used for a sound. And now you can start to use the same stuff that you're already seeing success in. You don't want to reinvent the wheel with any sort of content. You just want to look at what's already working and build your own version of it. Like you're not going to look at this post and say, okay, 7 signs you're not living in your purpose. Let me just recreate this exact video. What you are going to do is say, maybe I can create 7 signs you're not living in your purpose and create my own 7 signs, or maybe I can do 5 signs that I come up with that are different than this, right? So the more that you dive into what's popular here and what's getting a lot of views, the more that you'll find some viral noises, some viral sounds that people are using your own content around. So huge point about this and covering this today and really just showing what's available on here is the fact that like we need to be taking advantage of a lot of this exposure as business owners, right? And that's why I'm starting to take TikTok a lot more serious, is because back in the day, I would look at it as a kids platform, and by no means is it a kids platform anymore. It's very education based. People are providing value on here. If you look in all different sites, potential like keywords, if you do like spiritual, you've got all these other posts, you can find people, right? You can go under accounts and you can find people who, everything spiritual. For instance, like this is an account that just posts about spirituality and stuff. So you can get a lot of content ideas around this. And the idea is like, because TikTok is such an educational platform, we want to think about how we can utilize it to our advantage. So using education-based content is one huge piece. Creating content that is viral, so using sounds that are viral, is another thing. And what it's going to take is getting on the platform and becoming used to what's out there, right? Digesting the content on the platform, understanding what's working for other people, and starting to create content that is your own unique content, but that is following the framework of what's already working, right? Don't reinvent the wheel. Just look at what's working and create what you feel is the right structure and alignment to what's working. And you can gain a ton of exposure on this platform. Like any of the coaches that we work with could be hopping on this platform, providing a lot of value, creating quick videos, and getting thousands of views per day and thousands of people who are seeing who they are and what they do. And that's what we need as business owners, is we need exposure to who we are and what we do. And the more exposure that we get, the more our business is going to grow. So TikTok is a platform that we can easily use, spending some time to, research the platform, dive into the platform, search our keywords, go into what's trending, and just create consistent content. There's a lot of messaging out there that will talk about TikTok and will say that if you're using TikTok, you need to be posting 100 times a day. And that's not the case. You don't need to be posting 100 times a day. You need to just be consistent. And if you can post, 1 time a day, then you can get a lot of exposure. And understand that on TikTok, these are 15-second videos. This is the easiest form of content that we could possibly be creating right now, which is very nice. It's like, okay, I only have to create a 15-second video. I think I can do that, right? So it's like utilizing this platform to our advantage to get a lot of exposure is one of the biggest pieces that we can use right now in the online space to get organic traffic as soon as possible. So based off of kind of that structure, Carmen, do you have any questions off the top of your head that come to mind?
No, not at this time. I'm just trying to, actually thinking about what I want to look at and what I want to research on TikTok.
Yeah, for sure. And if you think about the place to start there, right, is like start with what's the main piece that interests you, right? Like what's the biggest thing that interests you in what you do? And like, what do you feel that you can provide the most value with? And I know that you're big on meditation and those different types of like practices with spirituality and energy work and stuff like that. Even, searching energy work, there's a lot of videos on this too that you could dive into, tapping into a higher vibration, right? So like that's one of the biggest things, Carmen, that I've realized with content is like, if we sit and try and just like figure out what can I make for content, our mind is going to go absolutely blank. Like every time, like I do it all the time where I block off like an hour and I'm like, oh, let me create some content today. And then I can't create any content because I can't come up with any ideas. And the reason is because when we look into what's working and we look into the different areas that, we are interested in, we can start to find what's working and recreate it, as opposed to us trying to create something that's completely new,
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I just thought about something. I was talking to my personal trainer on Monday about some of the stuff that I'm capable of doing. And one of them happens to be bending time. And to me, that's something that I think would interest people, because I mean, I can leave a half an hour late and get to where I would need to be on time. Basically, is because I bend time. I don't accept the reality of time in this world. And I do it all the time. I mean, I set an intention, okay, I'm going to arrive at this place by this time. And then I just let the universe do what it needs to do to get me there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I probably could talk about doing that and asking people, hey, do you wish you could bend time? And what does it take to actually bend time?
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, I think you're in a space where, like you could really take advantage of TikTok, like specifically because you have a lot of information and a lot of strategies that you do that, it's not like accessible information that everybody knows, like you have a lot of unique stuff that you do that people don't really know about. And like, it's because like we're not taught about this stuff in school, we're not taught about this stuff like in education of normal, just like our system doesn't teach us about spirituality and different ways to do what you're talking about, so the fact the more interesting your information is, the more you're going to be able to get traffic on TikTok and be able to run with it, so to your point, that type of stuff, talking about like how to create your future, like how to, that stuff is always going to catch a lot of attention of people who are in that space. And the more consistent you get with it, seeing it as like a long term, right? Somebody sees a piece of content, let's say they see that piece of content that you mentioned about bending time, and then they're like, wow, this is super interesting. Let me give her a follow because I want to see the rest of what she does. Then they see your next video about meditation and they're like, oh, this is really cool. Like I'm feeling like I need some more clarity. And you never know when someone is going to all of a sudden send you a direct message on Instagram or on TikTok and say, hey, I've been watching your past few videos, like would love to learn more about what you do, and TikTok is really like, honestly, it's the only place that can happen anymore. To be honest with you, like content is important on every platform. And like being consistent on Instagram, being consistent on Facebook is super important. But TikTok is like one of the only platforms that our content will bring us clients, as opposed to us having to go search for clients.
Yeah, because I mean, I am so exhausted with Facebook. Because I see the same things over and over and over again. And because of the communities that I'm in and the friends that I have, the posts are all the same. And it's getting to be a little bit monotonous because it's like, oh my God, okay, how much more of this can you tolerate? And look at. So yeah, I agree with you there. Facebook is just becoming, I would say, mundane.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of like depressing information and people who are like going on there to like spew out their emotions, as opposed to like a very value-driven platform. And like the cool thing about, TikTok, Instagram, like a lot of these kind of newer platforms is that they are built to feed you content that you interact with. So you actually create your experience on these platforms. So for instance, with TikTok, if you start engaging with certain types of content, you're going to get fed tons of content with that idea. You know, like last night I had like engaged with a couple videos, and like I'm getting hit with like all different types of videos now on that structure. And TikTok provides us with an opportunity to be able to recreate that experience. And, you know, if we're just diving into spiritual content or mindset content, then that's just what they're going to feed us. We might get a different video every now and then, and it kind of takes some time to build that experience, but it's a pretty refreshing platform, to be honest with you, once you get to the point where it is personalized to like what you want to experience. And like, by no means you can get lost pretty quick in TikTok. Like, it's a very engaging platform, and it can be very easy to just scroll through the platform. So you definitely don't want to fall into that pattern, but using it to your benefit and using it to see what's working and create your version of what's working is going to be a huge benefit.
Yeah, because the first time I actually looked at TikTok, I'm like, oh God, no, what am I doing? Because my granddaughter sent it to me and it said, oh, you know, you got to take a look at this. And I started looking at it and I'm like, oh God, no, you know, this is definitely out of my age group.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised, seriously. Like I've seen more and more that, you know, like it started off as that for sure. You know, like a lot of the people who caught the first wave of exposure on TikTok, you know, they were 12-year-old kids that were dancing in front of the camera, and now they have millions of followers on TikTok. And like, and that's kind of how the platform started. But I'm noticing more and more that, you know, I'll get fed videos all the time of people who are, you know, like your age, if not older, that are creating content on the platform and getting exposure. And like, there's a lot of just opportunity out there. It's just about how we approach it and how we create the content around it, you know?
One thing that I have to overcome is I'm not good, or it's not that I'm not good at it. I don't like video. I don't like doing videos. I don't know. I never did. And that's one thing that I have to get over doing. Because I mean, even in the trainings that I've gone through, of course, we were required to create videos. And I'm like, oh God, here we go again. So I guess it's because of a concern of how you're coming across and how people are perceiving you in that video that has me kind of reluctant to do them. But I guess it's something I'm going to have to overcome.
For sure. Yeah. And like, and that's just, you know, the biggest kind of thing with video content is like, by all means, all of us experienced that in the beginning for sure. Mike can even speak on this too. Like, I definitely didn't enjoy video content at all when I first started. And like, the more I did it, the more I got used to it, the more I felt comfortable. But the thing to understand too is like, coming from a natural place and just coming from who you are on video, it's going to attract exactly who's looking for you. And that's why video is really powerful, is because, you know, if we put text out there, there's not a lot of context, there's not a lot of personality to it, but our video shows who we are, and our energy through that video will attract the people that we want to work with, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and the ones that I've done, even for the classes that I've done before, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback. So I guess I do come across in the right manner, or I'm perceived how I choose or want to be perceived. It's just me actually taking the time to sit there and do something and feel good about it.
For sure. Yeah. And then like the other side of that resistance with it is always a win. Like, I always feel that we're creating like a bunch of content right now for we're like revamping the course and making it a lot easier to digest. And like, there's tons of content that I have to create that's super overwhelming. And like, every time I get a video done, it's like, great, I just overcame something that I didn't want to do at all. You know, it's always nice to come out on the other side for sure.
Yeah. You know, I do have a question. It's not about content. It's about lead generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I noticed previously what we were doing is if there was a positive response, we were providing the person with a link to the calendar. And I don't know, it just came to me the other day. I mean, I know for me personally, if I get a link on a messenger or something like that, I won't open it. And the reason why I don't open it is because I've gotten hackers who send out links. And you think it's a safe link, and then you click on it, especially if you don't know who you're talking to. You click on the link, and then next thing you know, you've been hacked. So my question to you guys is, have you run across that? And is that why maybe some people don't want to click a link to a calendar?
Yeah. We recently switched like our internal process to be straight towards call booking of like manual booking. So
Uh-huh.
if somebody's interested on the front end, it's just like, what time works for you, 1 p.m. EST tomorrow or 1 p.m. EST on Thursday, like as opposed to doing the link. So I definitely think that it's worth testing out. Mike, I think
Yeah,
we
actually,
go ahead.
yeah, I actually put that into play as of yesterday. Like over the weekend, I basically redeveloped the script to be based around that. Just like Mike was saying, we noticed a huge increase in bookings when we tested that internally. So I
Mhm.
switched that over, and basically what happens now is if they respond positively, then instead of sending the link, the lead gen representative is going to hop into your calendar, look at the next two available appointments in the calendar, and then send those options over to the client or the prospect. So pretty much, like somebody will respond positive. The lead gen rep will say, okay, cool. How about, 2 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday or 2 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday. And then the
Okay.
prospect, will decide, and then we'll go ahead and book it manually through your calendar link. So everything will populate through the system itself.
Mhm.
Just, instead of them doing it through the link, we'll do it on our side. And to your point, I didn't even really think about like the suspicious link situation, but my kind of like thinking behind it was, we're inviting somebody to a call, and then it's like, hey, here you go, book it yourself. And it's
Mhm.
kind of like it's like a screw you type of thing. Like, why would I do that? And
Mhm.
to that point, it just like kind of adds a little bit more tension, a little bit more resistance to it. But yeah, no, I definitely think that's a valid point.
Yeah, that I was just curious about that. Um, so and I did watch the video from the call yesterday, so I did get some valuable information out of that as well,
Good.
in regards to Instagram. So I'm going to have to take some time to actually go in and see what it is I want to present, or what subjects I want to talk about. And I'm actually in the process of now I'm taking a course from my mentor. It's called Purpose to Profit, where they talk about some of the other things you can do in order to generate clients and leads. So I'm taking that right now.
Beautiful. Yeah, and to that point about content, while Mike was going through this, because he actually opened my eyes to a lot of stuff on TikTok that I didn't even really know about. So it was a good training from my side too, Mike. Thank you. But anyways, when I was searching through TikTok, I just did a search of healing, and there's actually like
Mhm.
quite a few videos of like women like crying, like about like, oh, so and so broke up with me, and I'm going through this shit. So it's like, and like these videos have like 500 plus thousand views, obviously, because
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that can relate to those types of feelings. But
Mhm.
the immediate thought that I had was not to like reach out to that person and offer help, but to use that as like I don't know the direct term on TikTok, but it's almost like a duet or something like that, I think it is. And it's pretty much where you can record a video alongside of their video. So in your case, it could be like taking like an example of content could be taking these types of videos and then almost offering the solutions next to it. So it's
Mhm.
like her, going, talking about this traumatic experience, and then you providing the coaching that would go to it as if she was a client, but obviously, it's just somebody on TikTok. And then the benefit of that is like somebody seeing that and being like, oh wow, like I feel like this woman over here, and Carmen's like literally talking about the solutions. Maybe I should reach out to Carmen, something like that. But not to mention, because this video has like over 500,000 views, it kind of has that same aspect of what Mike's talking about, where it's you're capitalizing off of or capitalizing off of viral content. And somebody else talked about this. His Instagram profile is like CEO lawyer or something like that. And so
Mhm.
obviously he's a lawyer, and he's and specifically I want to say that he's like an insurance lawyer. Um, so pretty much people that deal with car accidents and shit like that that are, you know, going against insurance companies. And he was talking about like how he thinks about his content, and the different ways that he comes up with content. And one of the ways was, you know, kind of like entertainment, and that's almost what he was going after, was finding like, in his example, it was finding videos of a car crash and saying like, okay, who do you think is at fault? You know, and like, and then it was going into like how he would attack that case, you know.
Okay.
So it's almost like, you know, I think like basically what I'm trying to paint the picture of is that you can use, you know, different forms of content. It doesn't always have to be the same thing, you know, like it can be,
Mhm.
you know, value based, like 5 tips to do X, Y, and Z, but at the same time, you can capitalize off of what other people are creating and go based off of that as well, you know.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
For sure, for sure. But cool. Any other questions or anything that we can help with as far as TikTok or content or anything in general?
Mm. No, I guess it's something I'm going to have to play around with and come up with some ideas as to exactly, you know, what I want to put out there and what I want to say, what I want to how I want to come across. So it's just a matter of me, you know, now doing my own due diligence and homework.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, what I would probably do, just because of this, what I've been doing kind of like during this call, is like just looking through some of these contents that other people are doing. Like I would specifically search healing, go through those and see what you
Mhm.
think about some of those videos, like just, you know, things that come to mind. Because even like this guy right here, he's like, you can't see it because I'm not sharing, but you know, he's just got a video of him, and it's got the title is like healing is a scam. And it's like he's like literally like listing out reasons why healing is like bullshit, you know, which obviously
Okay.
is, you know, his that statement is bullshit, you know. So it's like it's
Mhm.
different things that you can create or that you can take off of other people's things. So in that case, you could do the duet thing where it's almost like, you know, healing isn't a scam, but at the same time, you don't even need to do the duet. You can just create a video that's basically controversial
Mhm.
towards it, like the
Mhm.
reasons why healing isn't a scam, you know, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I can. Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be really interesting to talk about because I do hear that a lot, and there are a lot of skeptics out here. And you know, because if I am talking to someone, I'm bringing it up in a conversation, you know, sometimes I'll get, oh, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, I get that, or other times it's like, okay, yeah, if that's what you feel or that's what you believe. So it's an interesting market out there to have to confront when you do what I do.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing that comes to my mind, like just from like seeing like family experiences, is, you know, like a lot of my family members will consult with quote unquote like counselors or therapists. And
Hmm.
to me, you know, like those people don't really necessarily have like the actual experiences, you know, like in my
Hmm.
eyes, you know, like someone on your in your standpoint, or even a lot of, you know, pretty much all the coaches that we work with, you know, we are technically like can like counselors and therapists in our own ways, you know. But
Hmm.
what I often see like with my family members when it comes to them going to therapists or counselors is like they're getting like a one-sided story, you know. And they're basing like results or actions, you know, off of like what, you know, for example, like my mom is telling that person or my cousin is telling that person, you know what I mean? And you
Hmm.
know, it's not like a situational thing based on like experience. It's like, okay, this is what I'm seeing, so like cut that person out of your life, you know. And like that's often like that's what I see like inside of my family, is like my family will go consult with a counselor and then like come back and be like, you know, I don't need that person in my life anymore. And I'm like, huh, what the hell did you tell the counselor? You know, like I don't
Oh my
understand
God.
what the conversation was. So like that's what I mean, is like I feel like the traditional like way of going about like kind of like healing, quote unquote, or like
Hmm.
emotions,
Hmm.
stuff like that, is like to
Mhm.
consult with a therapist or a counselor. And like, I think those people are like completely off the wagon, you know, like they went to school for like psychology or something, and it has nothing to do with like actually being a therapist. You know what I mean?
Well, it's interesting because I mean, I have a master's in psychology, so I went to school
That's
for
funny.
psychology. Okay, and I was going to be a licensed psychologist because what I found out with my fellow classmates and the teachers and everything, we did a retreat, is that the majority, at least 90 to 95% of psychiatrists and psychologists are effed up. Okay.
Exactly.
And they go into the field of psychology looking to find answers for why they are the way that they are. And I have been in therapy with several different psychologists. And let me tell you, if you don't know really what you are looking for, they can screw you up. Because, yeah, you're right. They're looking at it from their perspective and not yours. And then one thing that I learned also is a really, really, really good psychologist is not there to advise you. The psychologist is there to help you find your own answers. And so basically all they're supposed to do is guide you to the answer, not tell you what to do, not give you their suggestions of what to do, but to help you, because we have all the answers to every problem that we ever went through within us. And the psychologist is really supposed to be the guide to those answers. And I have found so many of them are so effed up and think they know what to do and how to fix things and everything. I had one psychologist who had a problem with me dating interracially. And so she brought her issues to my consultation sessions. I had another one who had the idea that professional Black men weren't the way to go, because she married a blue collar worker. So she was making suggestions that maybe I should take a look at blue collar workers. And I'm thinking, you know what? You're trying to put your life on me. And then I had another psychologist that came, and all he wanted to do was talk about the sex problems of his other clients. So I'm like, oh my God. And I made the decision, this is not the field that I want to go in. Yeah, I did get a master's in it, but I use some of the skills from it, but I know the skill I use is the fact that I'm supposed to help people find their own answers. And I guide them, but I don't tell them what they should or shouldn't do, because that's not the purpose of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and yeah, no, I like that a lot. And to that point, you know, like it's almost coming with an agenda, you know, and an agenda that's based around like them or what they have been taught, and not so much what they need to dissect out of that person. So to that point, you know, like I know that's a huge market, you know, like just counseling and therapy, you know, like there's like tons of people that deal with that type of stuff, or that you know, like cater to those types of things. But is it the right solution? I don't really think so, you know, because of like what you're talking about, you know, like a lot of times you just need somebody to speak to and get your thoughts out, you know, and like just nope, okay, sounds good, you know, have a good day, we'll talk tomorrow. You know, like that type of
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, in all honesty, if you got a good friend that is good at listening, that's therapy.
Exactly.
That is therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because by the time you finish talking to that person, it's like, oh, okay, fine. Yeah, I think I know what I'm going to do, especially if that person doesn't feel like they need to offer advice. All right. And I hate to say this, I'm not anti-men, okay, but men think that it's their responsibility to fix things, okay? And women think it's just our responsibility to listen and be there. So I never ask a man for advice, because he's busy trying to fix my problem, and I never talk to them about my problems because I don't want advice. I just want somebody to listen. But it's nothing negative. It's just how different the male versus the female brain works.
Yep, exactly. That's a big thing I've learned this year.
Yeah. So, I mean, men are analytical mostly, and women are more sensitive in how we approach things. And it's a good balance when you got two people together, but it's just not good if one person always wants to fix the other person's life. And so that's something that I've come across in my counseling sessions too, where, I find male clients want an answer or want advice versus the women just want somebody to have a shoulder to cry on.
Yeah, for sure. And to that point, like I said, that's one of the biggest things that I've like learned, just in like kind of like relationships in general, whether it's, significant other or just a friend or, family member, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
might be. And like I recently like made a post about this actually on my Instagram, and it's like just titled like "What's Wrong," and it's pretty much
Mm-hmm.
like going on the fact of like when somebody asks you what's wrong, it is your time to like, open up to them, like drop those emotions. But the biggest thing that I see is exactly what you're talking about is either people take that chance to then flip it back onto them and
Mm-hmm.
dump their load onto them, or they
Mm-hmm.
go into that aspect of like, trying to be the problem solver, and in reality, that person, just like you said, just needs somebody to talk to, just needs a way to like dump those emotions out, so like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to your point, like, like that's like one of the biggest like kind of like benefits that I think you can capitalize on in your field is just that aspect of, it is a huge market, but people go to the wrong solutions.
Yeah, that's true. And I find that very insightful on your part to recognize that, because a lot of men don't. They don't recognize that they don't have to fix it. They just need to be there and provide support.
Yeah,
And
I'll
and under
thank my coach for that.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a positive thing. So your girlfriend's lucky. Okay. She is, because it's nothing worse than having a partner that always feels that they know more or they know better than you do. So, yeah. But yeah, so okay.
For
So
sure.
yeah, I will take those ideas and walk with them and work with them and actually see what I can come up with in terms of content. Because now that I realize it doesn't have to be a real major production, and it could just be, a simple subject that I talk about all the time with people. So it doesn't have to be that overwhelming type of production that I was thinking it needed to be.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, to that point, it can literally just be you holding your phone in your hand, and, it could be outside, it could be inside, right, sitting right where you're at. But yeah, no,
Mm-hmm.
to that point, like the biggest thing I always like personally hang myself up on is like Mike was talking about, like, oh man, what can I create? And like the biggest thing that I kind of got off of like what Mike was sharing was just leveraging like other people's content, other people's ideas, and just recreating it in your own language. But the cool thing about TikTok, like you said, it's very low production. I'm not sure if you've
Mm-hmm.
ever like went to post on there, but when you do, you can actually like record like little snippets. Like you just it's similar to like how you post like an Instagram story and Facebook story,
Mm-hmm.
where you just hold the button, and once you release, it stops recording. So you can record it directly through the app and then add stuff onto it, like text and stickers, like different things directly onto the app. It's very easy to edit there. Or what I always do is I'll pre-record it like just on my phone, and then upload it into TikTok, and then just clip out like the 15 seconds or whatever that I want from that video to actually post, and then I'll
Mm-hmm.
add stuff on that way. But yeah, no, it's a very very easy platform as far as like when it comes to like the type of content, when it comes to like a production, like Facebook, Instagram, I feel like stuff and it's coming a little bit more relaxed, I think, on Instagram, not maybe Facebook too, but in the past, like really high quality content has done really well on those platforms, whereas TikTok is like the exact opposite. It's like, as long as you can capture their attention and you can get a valuable message across, it's gonna go good on the platform.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like just like personally, I think, like, to be honest, like your like tone, your voice too, like it's very like soothing, it's mellow, it's calm, so like I think like a combination of that with your industry on the platform will be really good as far as like people receiving the message, um just because of like what I see is, like that Buddha guy, for example. I pulled up his video on my end just to
Mhm.
listen to him, and it's that same
Mhm.
thing. And we have a buddy Omar. He's like the same way, where like he speaks like very calm and very mellow. And like I don't know if it's like a direct correlation, but in my eyes, it's a lot more attractive that way because it's like something that's like soothing. It's not like aggressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the one advantage I have, which I'm grateful for, because it's actually a gift that I have, is that I am comprised of pure healing energy. So if I'm in your presence physically, if I'm talking to you, if I should touch you or hug you and everything, it's like a different energy that people feel. So, and I mean, I've had people I walk into a supermarket and all of a sudden I have people talking to me that, just come up to talk to me. So it's a kind of crazy kind of energy. Um, and I think that's part of the reason why when I posted that last picture and changed my photo on Facebook, I suddenly got all this interest. And I tell people, okay, it's just my energy that's coming off that you see, that you're connecting to. And so I do have that. That's a benefit, and I'm grateful for that. So, that should come across in whatever I do as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going at is just kind of that energy, from the conversation that you can relate in those types of content.
Mhm.
But also, yeah, no, I think overall I got some good value out of it too. So I got some good ideas that I can do as far as content on my side too. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, no, I definitely think like TikTok is a platform that I'm definitely not taking advantage of myself 100% either. So we can all keep each
Yeah.
other accountable.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't even have the app, so I'm going to have to go and download the app as well because
Step
I don't
one.
have it. Yeah, I think I had it on my phone at one time. And because of the content that I was looking at, I'm like, oh, hell no, let me get rid of this. This is not for me. So I'll just have to go and re-download it.
I think I did the same thing before. But perfect. Perfect. Well, I know
Uh,
Mike has to run to another call here in a couple minutes, but any other last questions or concerns, anything like that before we jump off here?
no, I'm good. I'm good. I appreciate all the information. Now just have to, grab the ball and run with it. So thank you guys. I really appreciate the information that you gave.
Yeah,
Of
for sure.
course.
No problem.
We'll be here every day.
Okay. You'll be playing all week, right?
Yeah, we'll be
Oh
playing
yeah.
all week.
Okay. So,
Well,
all right.
thanks for
So
coming
you
on,
take
Carmen.
care and enjoy. Okay. Enjoy your week.
Awesome. You as well.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.